One of the biggest moments in Star Trek history was spoiled because of leaks, but it still didn't ruin the heartbreaking sci-fi scene. While leaks have become more common due to the proliferation of information on the internet, they still happened in the past too. Major fandoms have always been desperate for information about the newest films or TV shows, and it's difficult to keep secrets in Hollywood because of intense interest in their projects. In the early 80s, Star Trek was reaching a new peak in its popularity, and that inevitably led to a massive spoiler reaching fans. The Star Trek movies started with 1979's The Motion Picture, and capitalized on the increased popularity of Star Trek, the original series, which grew throughout the 70s thanks to syndication. The short-lived TV show had a massive fanbase, and the string of movies released throughout the 80s were some of the best science fiction films of the decade. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan was a particular highlight, and it represented a major shift in the utopian sci-fi franchise. It also featured a surprising death which was meant to shock, but some viewers already knew it was happening. News of Spock's death in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan leaked to the public. The audience found out long before the movie even came out. Spock looks up from the console blankly in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Spock's death in the ending of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is the conclusion to what is a nearly perfect science fiction movie. It also paid off years of character development as fans were forced to watch one of their favorite characters sacrifice himself for the needs of the many. However, it wasn't much of a surprise because production scripts for The Wrath of Khan had been leaked, and journalists spilled the beans about the Vulcan's untimely death at the end of the movie. Naturally, the fan reaction to Spock's death was rather negative, but it didn't alter the final outcome of the film. Spock still died, but he would be brought back in the next film, Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. Spock's death was a request from Leonard Nimoy, who wanted to move on from the science fiction franchise. However, as director Nicholas Meyer revealed in an interview with Yahoo, Nimoy had second thoughts about Spock's death. He would swiftly return to the franchise in the next movie, and even assume directing duties for the next two installments. In one of the opening scenes of The Wrath of Khan, Spock is seemingly killed during combat while serving on a starship. It's quickly revealed to be merely a simulation, but it serves a threefold purpose in the film. Not only did it allow for an exciting opening, but it foreshadowed Spock's death, and was a clever fake-out for those who already knew the Vulcan's demise was imminent. Meyer takes credit for moving the simulator scene to the front of the movie, and for hatching the idea of faking Spock's death. There are rumors that Gene Roddenberry himself leaked the script. The creator of Star Trek may have been behind the leaks. Kirk and Spock talk in a hallway in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Though Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is a beloved piece of the franchise and arguably its best movie, it didn't sit well with creator Gene Roddenberry. The movie was a stark departure from his utopian vision of the future with its increased emphasis on violence, and Roddenberry had been ousted from the project following the financial failure of Star Trek, the motion picture. Unwilling to go down without a fight, Gene Roddenberry reportedly leaked the script of The Wrath of Khan to journalists, knowing that Spock's death would cause a controversy and potentially tank the movie. According to Star Trek historian Mark A. Altman, via Collider, there's little doubt that it was Roddenberry who leaked the script since each one had a unique production code. The one that journalists got their hands on had Roddenberry's code, and it didn't pass through any other hands during pre-production. Since it happened before the internet, Altman maintains that Roddenberry intentionally leaked the script in order to sabotage the movie. The Spock death spoilers still didn't ruin Wrath of Khan's amazing ending. Such a powerful moment couldn't be undercut by any spoilers. The best movie endings are just as powerful on the second, third, or even 100th viewing, and Star Trek II's finale wasn't robbed of its power by the leaks. The importance of Spock's death isn't its shock value, and his sacrifice is meaningful to Kirk's arc and Spock's own philosophy. In fact, The Wrath of Khan has a somewhat fatalistic tone from the very beginning, and Spock's death is foreshadowed repeatedly. The ending of the film is still moving 4 decades later, and there's a reason it's one of the highlights of the Star Trek franchise.